Ranking every vanilla knife in CSGO. Getting your first knife in CSGO is one of the most special feelings you can get, but it also means that you are most likely on the way to get an absolute DJ and spending money on pixel instead of real life. But not everybody will agree with this statement, which brings us to the motto of the video. If you disagree, that's fine. Now, to everybody who already forgot what this video is about, we are going to rank every knife in CSGO. And also, quick disclaimer, I'm not considering prices in my rankings, I go for look and status of the knife or skins, so let's not waste too much time and get right into the video. Starting off with the first tier or category, which is called trash tier, including the 5 worst knives in CSGO. And the worst knife in CSGO is the Navaya knife. Obviously, it's too small, it feels clunky, and if you buy a Navaya, you'll get bored after 3 days of playing anyway. So you can just keep your money or burn it, I don't know. Next up, we got the gut knife. It has so much space for a good knife finish, but the shape of it destroys it right away, and also the pull-out and inspect animations are nothing special, so pretty trashy. Moving on, we got the Nomad knife. This knife looks like an ugly dick with a super weird pull-out animation. Switching to this knife when playing completely throws me off, and I don't get why you want this wobble-wobby vibe, I don't know. And the same applies for the Falchion knife. Super clunky, wobbly feeling, and even if the animations are cool on paper, also with the super rare inspect, in reality this knife doesn't feel or look good at all. And also this annoying ass sound when you switch to it. Ah, get out of my head! The complete opposite is the Huntsman knife. This knife looks actually decent, but it has nothing special to it. Boring pullout animation, boring inspect animation, and even though it looks kind of decent, it also looks kind of boring. Now, these are the 5 trash tier CSGO knives, and there will be people getting insanely offended by this, mostly because they own one of these, but honestly guys, I don't care, leave your NPC comment and get some likes. Let's move on to the 5 decent tier knives. Starting off, we got the Paracord knife. A decent knife, close to being trash because it does have a decent animation with a decent look to it, but overall this knife feels kind of flat, if you know what I mean. Next up, we got the Ursus knife. I personally don't like the handle too much, but I mean you can flip the knife sometimes and hold that, so my ADHD brain is kind of satisfied, but just kidding, it's decent and only that and nothing more. Moving on, we got the Stiletto knife. It has a vibe and I can't take that away, so there are some people who really enjoy this one, but let's not ignore the main factor why it's so low, which is that it's super thin and has no space for cool skins on it. 11th place goes to the Survival knife. I honestly think that's a cool knife, it feels weirdly satisfying and has a rare cool pullout animation, but let's not make more out of it as it is. It's a decent knife, but I tend to overhype that one. And last decent knife is the Bayonet. This is an honest ranking and I know I'll get flamed for that take, but I think even though the Bayonet has this cool flippy pullout animation, it is only a decent knife. Now let's quickly move on to the good tier knives. Starting off, we got the M9 Bayonet. I think this knife feels super satisfying to play with, and considering the fact that on paper this knife is also rather boring, I find it interesting that I enjoyed it so much. Next up, we got the Flip knife. Not only was the Flip knife vanilla my first ever CSGO knife, back then I also used to own a Doppler Phase 2, and every time I switched to my knife, when it flips out of this small handle, which is way too small for the blade by the way, I got a small orgasm. Moving on, we got the Classic knife. I love the fact that they implemented this into the game, and even though I don't really have a connection to the old Counter-Strikes, it still has a specific vibe, but buying anything than the vanilla version of that feels wrong to me. Number 6, we got the butt plugs. And they are not here because I wanted to make that joke, they are here because I love the uniqueness of having 2 knives instead of just one, and to all the haters, you should try it before you judge it, because it just feels better with than without. I have this feeling that this statement will haunt me in some years. Oh, never mind. Last good knife, and very close to the Shadow Daggers, is the Bowie knife. The complete opposite, because this knife is so big that the second head got removed from the screen, and again, I love the uniqueness, I love the sound, and there's so much space for cool finishes. Now, the one and only godlike knives are left, and I personally feel like I can't go wrong from here on, but in reality, there's still much to mess up. 4th place, which means no medal for the Talon knife. Not because it doesn't look good, Not because it has no cool animation, because it doesn't lack those categories, just because of the handle. It's bright in most finishes and that can be a problem to me. Third place, and now I'm being realistic, the Karambit. Yeah, this used to be the one and only knife, the knife to go, but doesn't that make it a bit overrated? Because we all wanted one when we were younger, and if we saw someone owning one, we juiced our pants. But was it because of the status or because it looks good? Tough question. Now, second place goes to the Skeleton. And you know why it passed the Karambit? Data miners found 2 new knives in the CS2 game files, but no one is talking about the fact that we are missing chroma and gamma finishes for this knife. And just imagine a Skeleton Doppler or Marble Fade or Gamma Doppler, and now you'll maybe understand my decision. Probably not, but you can tell me in the comments. And the one and only number one, we all know what's coming, the Butterfly Knife. 2 pullout animations, 3 inspect animations, it never gets boring, it looks super cool, but the most interesting fact about it is when it came out, people actually didn't like it. And fast forward today, this is by far the most popular CSGO knife and also the best. Now please tell me your top 5 in the comments, I actually want to know this, and if you enjoyed watching, subscribe and like for more news and interesting stuff about Counter-Strike. See ya!